Yes, hello, good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming. Today is session 5 of Unit 4 Leadership and Management. Okay, we're quickly going to recapping from our last lesson. Last lesson, we looked at an overview of leadership. We talked about leadership skills that are essential for guiding teams, inspiring confidence, and achieving organizational objectives. These skills include things like communication, delegation, problem solving, and innovation. We also said that successful leaders also embody trustworthiness. They maintain positive attitude and motivate others through inspiration and collaboration. So the key leadership skills that we'll be looking in here would include the following four bullet points: communication, delegation, inspirational motivation, and positive attitude. Okay, so that was what we covered. Is it is it clear to you? Do you have any question from previous lesson? If you have no question, then let's quickly go into today's lesson intent. The intent today is to look at the positive impact of leadership and management on business performance. We see that effective leadership and management are vital for enhancing organizational performance because they contribute to increased productivity, improved quality, high customer satisfaction, reduced cost, and better decision making. Okay, so look, taking it one by one, we go straight into increased productivity. Good leadership motivates employees, provides clarity in role and expectations, and encourages a positive work environment which collectively enhances productivity. For example, a team leader sets clear goals and offers regular feedback, motivating team members to exceed their own performance targets. Question: how does clarity in communication from leadership lead to increased productivity among employees? Right, take 2 minutes, answer the questions, and I'll give you a possible answer. Okay, possible answer. Clarity in communication helps employee understand their roles, reduce confusion, and align their efforts with organizational goals, leading to increased productivity. Okay, next we look at improved quality. Leaders focus on excellence, instill a culture of quality across the organization, resulting in better processes and fewer defects in products and services. For example, a manufacturing leader implements quality control measures that results in a significant decrease in defective products. Okay, so the more you have quality control in place, uh, as you lead or manage teams, the likelihood that there will be decreased defective products. Okay, so what is one way leaders can promote a culture of quality in their organization? Take 2 minutes. What is one way leaders can promote a culture of quality in their workplace? Model answer: leaders can promote a culture of quality by implementing regular quality checks along the process, training employees on quality standards, and rewarding excellence in quality management. Okay, so it's important that teams are trained. So training is very, very vital. and information as to and quality checks so that teams are they understand why there has to be quality in the process. Okay. High customer satisfaction. Now, customer centric leadership, that means a leader that focuses more on the customers, prioritizes understanding and meeting customers' needs. This leads to a better customer experience and higher satisfaction level. So when a leader is leader centric, customer centric, then they focus on customers, uh, the customers say, the customer's perspective of their business. And by so doing, they will put in the best, make sure that customers receive a good experience, and that way there will be higher sales and higher satisfaction levels. For example, a customer service manager trains staff to handle inquiries and complaints effectively, leading to improved customer reviews and loyalty. Such training will include things like the three types of customers and how to deal with them, such as assertive customers, persuasive customers, and passive customers or aggressive customers. All these are different types of customers, and so there are ways in which they should be dealt with. So this, will be part of the training for customer-facing employees. Look at this case study. A restaurant chain implements feedback system to gather customer input on menu items, resulting in high satisfaction rating. How does this reflect customer-centric leadership? Okay, I'm sure you have all received when you buy things from Amazon or all this online shopping, they tend to give you, want you to give a feedback as to how you felt, for how you found their service. They sometimes give you 5 stars for you to tick what part of the star 1 to 5, or to make a small comment as to how you feel the service was, or the product was in a given situation. So, how does such behavior from the organization or from a leader, how does it reflect customer, centric relationship or leadership? So, by actively seeking customer feedback on the menu and implementing changes based on those feedback, the restaurant chain was able to enhance its customer experience and satisfaction level. Okay, so that means that when even on the internet where you have, you should always read the customer's comments and acting upon those comments as well. So that way, customers feel valued and they will follow you more, and they can always come back to you or recommend your your restaurant in this case. Now let's look at reduced cost. Effective management streamlines operation and eliminates waste, resulting in reduced cost across organization. So to reduce cost is to find means of making sure that you streamline, you eliminate waste as much as possible. And by eliminating waste, you are increasing the likelihood of good products, quality products to be produced. And so uh, less expenses in this case. For example, a retail manager optimizes inventory processes to reduce holding cost and minimize waste from unsold products. This will also mean where uh, a leader or a manager would obviously have a good inventory system so that you don't overbuy products. So you buy based on what is required. Otherwise, you would find that you are holding stock, in unsold goods. And sometimes some of these goods have shelf life and sell by dates. So if they are perishable goods, consumable goods, then of course, there has to be a craft or a system of purchase so that you don't overbuy because uh, when items go uh, out of sale, they're either chucked away, that's loss of revenue, loss of money, or they might be sold at a cheaper rate, something like that. Okay, and again, ultimately, to reduce costs is to be effective and efficient in your inventory system. Now, how can organizations balance cost reduction with maintaining quality and customer satisfaction? How can organizations balance cost reduction and maintain quality and customer satisfaction? Possible answer: organizations can balance cost reduction by focusing on efficient processes. Okay, like I mentioned about inventory processes, while maintaining quality standards and ensuring customer satisfaction remains a priority. Next, we look at this better decision making. Inclusive leadership that gathers diverse perspectives and decision and decisive management that acts swiftly results in more informed, effective decision making. So, inclusive leadership is that leadership that practices diversity and inclusion. And so, no one is left out, everybody is given a fair share of contribution when making a decision or making a strategic decision. This can be done, for example, as a project manager involves teams in brainstorming session or mind showering session so that every member contributes or has an input, okay, in making a decision. And ultimately, a better judgment is made at the end of the day. So that way, everybody feels valued, everybody feels heard, and are motivated and feel part and parcel of the business decisions, and that way they're inspired. Okay, and you can retain, uh, you know, staff that way. Okay. Quiz: why is diversity in decision making beneficial to organization? More of what I've just talked about: diversity and inclusion, making sure that everybody, especially in today's world of equal opportunity and globalization. Uh, we have people from different parts of the world working together, and so we need to give everybody a fair chance to contribute, be heard, okay, and contribute to decisions in the workplace. Possible answer: diversity in decision making allows organizations to consider multiple perspectives, leading to more creative solutions and reducing the likelihood of groupthink. It promotes inclusion, respect, and trust among the team, resulting in more informed and effective decision making. Okay. We look next into effective change management. Usually, change occurs at some point, and so it's going to be managed. We say that skilled leaders guide successful change initiative, facilitating transition and ensuring employees are engaged and supported throughout the process of that change. For example, a company undergoes a digital transformation, and the leadership ensures regular communication and training to ease this transition. Usually, not most workers, human beings don't like change sometimes or most times. So, the idea is to sell the idea of the change, why the change is needed, and work with them to remove the disadvantages or the blockers of that change, and you know, and train if you need to train staff so that they're familiar with it. And obviously, it shouldn't be done overnight. It should be done through a process, and there should be regular communication so people are aware as you transit. from current way of working to new way of working. So a question here, a tech firm implements new software across department. How do leaders manage this change effectively? Okay, so think about this 2 minutes, write your answers. Okay, so model answer, skilled leaders ensure that employees understand the reason for changes and provide necessary support, resources, and training to navigate the transition successfully. Okay, it could be as simple as new software. Okay, not everybody will be familiar with software. So uh, when you have a changeover of a software from one version to another, if there is a huge change in the way the system is operated, staff will need to be trained, okay, on how to, use the new system or the new app in this case. All right, and that aids communication as well. Now let's look at improved collaboration. By communication effectively, we collaborate. So collaborative leaders foster connectivity and knowledge sharing across different departments or sections, enhancing teamwork and innovation. For example, a leader promotes interdepartmental or sectional meeting to share insights and ideas, leading to collaborative projects that benefit the organization in the long run. Question: how does a collaborative culture impact innovation within the organization? How does a collaborative culture impact innovation within organization? Okay, again, take 2 minutes. Okay, possible answer. Collaborative culture encourages employees to share their ideas and insights freely, which can lead to innovative solutions and improvement in products and services. Okay, so how are we doing so far? Everybody happy? Okay, let's carry on. Next, we'll look into uh, stronger innovation. Leaders who empower risk taking and encourage divergent thinking create an environment that fosters innovation and creativity, where you give uh, teams opportunity to think for themselves, to be flexible, think for themselves, think outside the box. Okay, having a tax cultured uh, environment where teams can think for themselves, where they can be creative. Such an environment leads to stronger innovation. For example, a manager encourages employees to pitch new ideas without fear of failure, resulting in several successful product launches. Okay, and that is a typical example of what happens in on these tech firms like Elon Musk, for example, of SpaceX and Tesla and all of the various other Earth sustainable environments, Wi-Fi, Starlink, and now into phones. So he is able to do this because he's quite rich and he gives he employs the best hands all over the world and give them a free hand to be creative, to research, to innovate. Okay? And he takes all the glory, or the company takes glory. And of course, he's in the head of the, he's the CEO and chairperson. So we see him globally and celebrate him. But all of the ideas are actually not only his, is a team's idea. So there is an open system where strong innovation, is allowed to happen. So that's that form of organizational culture. Okay, referred to as organization, referred to as person culture or task culture. as you will see as we progress on this lesson. Maybe lecture 7, I think, covers that. What role does leadership play in fostering an innovative culture? Positive answer? Possible answer? Uh, Leaders can foster innovation by creating an environment where employees feel safe to explore and to propose new ideas and to take calculated risks. Okay, right. Next, we're going to higher employee engagement. Employees are engaged where you have a supportive leadership and management because it provides opportunity for growth, development, increase employee engagement and morale. So when leaders are very supportive, they create an opportunity for growth, for employee growth and development. And that ultimately increases their morale and motivation, retention, okay, keeping the talents. For example, a leader offers a training program and career development opportunities, leading to higher retention rate. So, uh, by so doing, uh, workers and employees feel engaged, they feel important, they feel valued and trusted, and because they've been developed within and all expenses paid in most times, it leads to higher retention. Staff will not leave. That they tend to remain, especially when they're all happy, but and engaged. Case study: a company implements a mentorship program. How does this influence employee engagement and career satisfaction? You need to understand what mentorship means in the first place. Okay, this is a way of training the inexperienced workers, maybe pairing them with a more experienced person who supports them along the line within the organization so that the inexperienced employee gets better and more knowledgeable. Okay. Typical example of answer will be implementing a mentorship program encourages employees to develop their skills and feel more engaged within the organization, which ultimately leads to higher retention. Okay. Now that we've looked at all of the various positives, influences, and ways in which strong leadership can support management and organizations, let's look at how what negative impacts might impact. So negative impacts on leadership and management. Poor leadership and management can lead to significant negative impact, which includes things like loss of competitive advantage, stagnation, and decline. So organizations that are complacent, that does not think about innovating, okay, would be left, will stagnate and ultimately be left behind or decline or fizzle out. Now let's look at loss of competitive advantage. Weak leadership that fails to adapt can result in complacency. That is, disengaged employee will lead to disengaged employee, inefficient capital allocation, and lack of strategic thinking. So all of these elements, complacency, disengaged employee, inefficient capital allocation, and lack of strategic vision, all of this can lead to loss of competitive advantage. Okay? Complacency simply means sticking rigidly to outdated methods, okay? Not wanting, taking things for granted, not thinking of innovating, okay? Not wanting to spend money to innovate, or not allocating money in the right place, wasting resources, okay, poor management, okay, it will lead to disengaged workforce, okay, and not thinking and not planning strategically, not looking at a vision, not selling a vision of where the business should be within a short term or medium long term. For example, look at this case study. A tech company loses market share due to outdated products and failure to innovate. How does leadership complacency contribute to this decline? Take 2 minutes. How does leadership complacency contribute to business decline? Possible answer: the tech company failure to innovate and adapt to changing market needs demonstrates how complacency can lead to a significant loss of business competitive advantage, allowing competitors to outpace them. So if you have competitors like, so let's say, Sainsbury, uh, Tesco, Asda, Morrison's, all these type of stores sell similar things, and so they'll be competing in a way. They are good at one thing over the other, and if they do not innovate, like going online, for example, because most companies nowadays go online because customers now shop online in the comfort of their own home, gets delivered. We have delivery, we have Uber Eats, all of these type of delivery systems. That's what people live nowadays from Amazon and all of that. So if businesses do not innovate quickly, trying to follow the trend, then they will lose out. They become complacent and they will lose out. Ultimately, they first of all stagnate over a period and then they would fizzle out by decline. So, stagnation, ineffective leadership can stifle creativity and lead to poor motivation, ineffective communication, and resistance to change, resulting in a stagnant organization. Okay, and when an organization is stagnant, it means that it's not growing, it's not going down, it's not going up. But we want growth in all businesses. So if they cannot grow, then ultimately, and they plateau at one level, then ultimately they're going to decline after a while. So lack of motivation, uh, lack of innovation, poor motivation, ineffective communication, resistance to change that is not handled properly. All of this can cause conflicts and issues within organizations, and ultimately that business will stagnate. We remain at one we remain at one plateau, but obviously without growth, they will ultimately fizzle out. Question: how can organizations identify signs of stagnation in their business processes? Think about it. Okay? Any of these four impacts can lead to stagnation: lack of innovation, poor motivation, ineffective communication, resistance to change that is not handled properly. All of this can ultimately lead to stagnation. There are signs of stagnation. Organizations can identify signs of stagnation through regular reviews, employee feedback, and monitoring market trend. So by doing all of this, by looking at regular feedbacks from reviews, they can realize uh, and understand that the business is in dire need of uh, revamp or issues, or savory. All right. So customer feedback is very important. Market trend is important. Communication is important. Okay. And selling ideas of change is important. Otherwise, the business will fizzle out. Next, we look at decline. Business decline. Inadequate strategic planning and ineffective leadership can lead to business decline. characterized by loss of talented employees, failure to meet customer needs, and inability to adapt to market changes. So when all these are possible or available within an organization, the organization is bound to decline after a while. Yeah, loss of talented employees. Talented employees are very difficult to come by. So when businesses or employees find that their business is stop suffering, that the management does not want to spend money or does not want to listen to the market trend and innovate or change, then they will begin to leave and join other companies. And once they leave like that, to to recruit new talents can be very difficult and cost money as well. So ultimately, there will be customer dissatisfaction, okay, and they will lose the market, opportunities out there. Okay, and all the key impacts, as you can see, are inadequate strategic planning, loss of talented staff, ignoring customer needs, and inability to adapt, okay, to change where it needs to happen. Especially going online, or going online can be very expensive as well. It needs a lot of funds, capital. If that is lacking, then you find the systems they're either bought over. Companies like that are either bought over or go into bankruptcy, and so they will fizzle out after a point. A traditional retail store fails to adapt to e-commerce trends and loses customers to online competitors. How does this reflect inadequate strategic planning? Pretty very simple. So take 1 minute or two to look at the answers, although I've already mentioned that. Model answer: a traditional retail store failure to embrace e-commerce highlights the critical need for strategic planning and adaptation to market trends to remain competitive and retain customers. So if you don't follow the market trend to go e-commerce, that's electronic commerce, online trading, not necessarily trading as in trading money, but going online, buying and selling online. Okay, that's e-commerce. If they don't follow the trend, because people can buy from anywhere now, there's a lot of advantages of going online nowadays. If they cannot follow suit, then ultimately they will stagnate and decline. Is that clear, everybody? Right, at this stage, let's look at what we have learned today. Let's conclude. So far, we learned that effective leadership and management play a crucial role in improving business performance through increased productivity, innovation, and customer satisfaction. On the other hand, conversely, we saw that poor leadership can lead to stagnation and decline, emphasizing the need for strategic thinking and adaptability. Is that clear? Do you agree with that? So this is what we covered today in this lesson, okay? Uh, Now let's look at this quiz. What are the two negative impacts of ineffective leadership and of an organization? What are the two negative impacts of ineffective leadership on an organization? Negative impacts. You can liken stagnation and decline as negative impacts. Let's look at the model answer. Okay, stagnation and decline in productivity can lead to negative impacts in organization. Now let's look at these quizzes. Multiple choice questions. 1. What is the key benefit of effective change management? What is the key benefit of effective change management? A, B, C, or D? C. Okay, successful implementation of new initiatives. What about number 2? True or false? Complacency in leadership can lead to a loss of competitive advantage. True or false? Yes, that's correct. True. Last question. Describe one way leadership can foster an innovative culture within the organization. Describe one way leadership can foster an innovative culture in an organization. Yep. What do you say? One way leaders can foster innovative culture? Yep. Okay. Could be leadership can encourage an innovative culture by empowering employees to take risks, share new ideas, and provide a safe space for experimentation without the fear of failures. So that can also be likened to applying emotional intelligence here. Okay, that way leaders can innovate. Those that are performing well can be stretched, and those that are not performing well can be, uh, coerced or told, not to be afraid that there's no such thing as failure, but that they can improve at the next time. Okay. So this ends the class. Before we go, these are the books I'd like you to look at, references. Find more information in these books. They're available on Amazon or you can look up on the net. Okay. And if you have questions, I want to thank you for your participation. I'll be happy to answer your questions. Okay, you can send your questions to me via email. Okay. So I want to thank you very much for your attendance, and I'll catch up with you at the next lesson, which is lesson 6. Bye for now. Bye.